Welcome to the Boyd Elite full service procedure. This video will guide you through the steps involved with long-term maintenance and servicing of the world's first double-acting fine jaw crusher. The full service can be either carried out on the base frame of the machine, or the machine can be removed from the base and placed on a bench using the feet supplied in the Boyd Elite toolkit. Stage 1 in the full service procedure is jaw removal. First, remove the chip guard, and then remove the tensioner. Take off the top flywheel keeper, which will allow you to remove the top flywheel. It slides straight off. Next, ease the belt away from the top pulley and remove it completely. The top pulley is next. Slide it off and away. Remove the keeper screw on the top of the jaw and insert an eye bolt supplied in the Boyd Elite toolkit. Take the weight of the jaw using a lifting device and remove the 4 bearing housing bolts. Screw 2 M10 bolts into the bearing removal holes of the bearing housing and wind in evenly as the bearing housing assembly starts to ease out. When it's clear, remove the bearing housing assembly. Repeat these steps on the opposite side of the crusher. We've sped it up to save time. With the jaw supported by the lifting device, unscrew the spring retainer plate and detach the jaw springs from underneath. Remove the spring retainer plate. Checking that the weight of the jaw is supported, remove the shaft by holding one side and tapping the other with a soft hammer. Lift the jaw up and out of the crusher frame. With the jaw out of the way, it's time to remove the pressure roller. First, unwind the jaw tensioning bolts. Then, remove the retainers holding the pressure roller shaft on either side. Supporting the pressure roller with one hand, slide the pressure shaft out of the roller. Remove the pressure roller. Remove all bearings and sleeves from the jaws, bearing housings, pressure rollers and shafts using the press tool supplied in the Boyd Elite toolkit. Ensure all parts are cleaned thoroughly and inspected for damage and wear. Once all parts have been thoroughly cleaned or replaced if necessary, we can now put the Boyd Elite back together. We start by fitting the grease retaining spacer, followed by applying Loctite to the jaw bearing housing. Then Loctite is applied to the cleaned NSK NU2211 cylindrical roller bearing. Press in the bearing using the press tool supplied in the Boyd Elite toolkit. The grease channel spacer goes in next. Cleanliness is essential throughout the process. Then press in oil seal 70-110 using the correct press tool. Check for and remove any loose debris that could contaminate the bearing. Repeat these steps for the other end of the jaw. Clean both the wear plate and the jaw machine surface. Ensure all parts are contaminant-free during this part of the process. Fit the wear plate to the jaw using the wedge bar, checking that the wear plate is central on the jaw. Apply Loctite 243 to the wedge plate bolts and evenly torque them to 28 Nm. Fit the wear plate backing roller. Lastly, grease the bearing using Mollab alloy 6040/4060-1.5. Repeat these steps on the opposite jaw. Now we move on to assembling the bearing housing. Make sure all parts that will be reused are cleaned and that you have the correct new parts and consumables close at hand. The first step is to press in the oil seal, number 70, 100, 10, using the press tool supplied in the Boyd Elite toolkit. Once again, absolute cleanliness is essential. Remove any loose debris that could contaminate the bearing. Clean and apply Loctite to part number NSK NU 22211, the cylindrical roller bearing. Then clean the bearing housing and apply Loctite. Next, press the bearing in using the press tool again. Grease the bearing with Mollab alloy 6040/4060-1.5. Then, press in the oil seal, number 70, 110, using the press tool. Once again, avoid the risk of contamination by removing any loose debris. The bearing housing is now ready to have the 3 sleeves and V-ring fitted. Repeat these steps on all 4 bearing housings. Now we can prep the pressure rollers. Press in the 2 bushes using the press tool supplied in the Boyd Elite toolkit. Clean off any debris and grease the bushes using Mollab alloy 6040/4060-1.5. Tap or press in the oil seal 7255/8. Clean and then fit the pressure roller sleeves. Repeat these steps on the opposite pressure roller. Moving back to the main body of the Boyd Elite, we're going to reassemble the unit. First, thoroughly clean all surfaces to make sure there'll be no contamination. Apply a small amount of grease or anti-seize to the rectangular holes on the frame. Hold the pressure roller assembly in place and slide the shaft through the sleeve and the roller. Next, fit the retainers. Apply Loctite, torque the bolts to 60 Nm and make sure the pressure roller shaft is free to slide back and forth along the frame. Check the tolerance with a 0.05 mm thickness gauge. Using a lifting device, lower the jaw assembly into the crusher frame. Install the shaft assembly through the jaw. Please note that the top and bottom shafts are different and need to be fitted into the correct jaw. Now, install the shaft alignment tool supplied in the Boyd Elite toolkit. Make sure it's lined up dead straight and the shaft is set to the center of the jaw. Smear a small amount of grease on the inside of the bottom shaft sleeve and on the V-ring seal as well. Install the bottom shaft sleeve using the press tool from the Boyd Elite toolkit. Slide the bearing housing assembly on the shaft and align it using the long bolts. Smear anti-seize on the housing and wind on the bolts evenly so that the bearing housing pulls up flush with the frame. Torque the bolts to 60 Nm using Loctite. Remove the shaft alignment tool. Install the opposite bottom shaft sleeve, V-ring and bearing housing assembly using the same procedure. Install the spring retainer plate and attach the springs to the jaw. Smear the jaw tensioning bolts with anti-seize and wind up. Repeat these steps to install the opposite jaw. Now fit the pulleys in the reverse order they were removed. To time the belts, use a dial test indicator to find the top dead center of each shaft. Mark the pulley and flywheel. Rotate both shafts so that top dead center is facing into the center of the machine at 90 degrees for the pulley and 270 for the flywheel. Now that the crusher is timed, you can fit the belt. Fit the belt and tension, torquing the bolt to 38 Nm using Loctite. Ensure that the crusher is still timed correctly. Fit the flywheel using anti-seize. Fit the flywheel keeper, torquing the bolts to 60 Nm using Loctite. Repeat these steps by fitting the belt and flywheel on the opposite side of the crusher. Once the crusher is back on the frame, the jaw gap can be set. First, make sure the top pressure roller is parallel with the jaw. Lock the top adjusting bolt. Turn the machine on and open up the product lid. Take a length of aluminium wire or piece of lead or soldering wire about 3 to 4 millimeters in diameter. Place the wire 10 to 20 millimeters into the crushing zone or drop a small piece into the crusher while it's running. Measure the flattened end of the wire or lead. Repeat this procedure left, right, and in the middle of the crusher plates. This will give an accurate indication of the jaw gap opening as currently set. Wind in the adjusting bolts to achieve the desired gap. Then tighten the lock nuts. Your Boyd Elite is now ready. Happy crushing!